In today's Final Touch, we have the story of a very dedicated man willing to walk 20 miles to get to his job.
And it's the story of a generous move by his new employer. Just before starting a new job at a moving company, Walter Carr's car broke down. Determined to make it to work, Carr started walking around midnight, walking the 20 miles to work. He was stopped by police who heard his story and gave him a ride to the moving job. The family Carr helped move was so touched they took to Facebook to tell his story. Well, that's when the company's CEO special trip to have his own personal car. He gave his own personal car to Carr so he no longer has to walk to work. Good for him. We'll see you back here tomorrow. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, a community taking time to talk after several teenagers have died by suicide within the last few weeks.
Plus, a Milwaukee Brewers pitcher is receiving backlash after some offensive tweets he wrote 7 years ago resurfaced.
Numbers are in. We'll tell you how much money you raised during our telethon for the victims of the Sun Prairie explosion.
This is 3 at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3. Members of the Mount Horeb community are talking about mental health after multiple people have died by suicide within the past 2 weeks.
Mount Horeb police have confirmed that recently 2 young adults committed suicide, and now a third death is being investigated as a possible suicide as well. Our Rose Schmidt talked to one of the families today and is here to share Joseph's story with us. Rose.
Eric and Susan, Joseph Larson was set to turn 20 next month, but he died on July 6th. His parents are sharing his story, hoping that no other parents have to go through what they are currently right now. Joseph liked to go for walks around the community and enjoyed playing video games. He worked at the Culvers in Mount Horeb and graduated from Mount Horeb High School last year. He was participating in a program with the school district for 18 to 21-year-olds. His family is so grateful for all the people who have reached out to them, some people they've never even met.
For him to not realize, the impact that he had on other people's lives, the many ways that he will be missed, not just by us, but by many.
Mount Horeb police say there is no obvious link or connection between the families in these 3 cases, but as you can imagine, in a small community, it's become a larger discussion about why this happened and what can be done to prevent it in the future. The police chief says depression and mental health issues are a problem, not just in Mount Horeb, but throughout the area. He says the county deals with it multiple times a day. The Mount Horeb Mental Health Coalition and the school district are planning an open forum to talk about mental health on August 2nd, and the Saturday Culvers in Mount Horeb is donating 25% of its sales to Joseph's family. And if you or someone you know needs help, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number we'll put on your screen. We also have resources on the Time to Talk part of our website. Head over to channel3000.com.
Rose Schmidt here in the studio with us. Rose, thank you.
Milwaukee Brewers all-star relief pitcher Josh Hader is receiving backlash after controversial tweets resurfaced last night during the All-Star game. Offensive tweets that Hader wrote back in 2011 when he was just 17 years old. Hader owned up to some of those tweets and apologized.
There's no excuse for what was said, and I'm deeply sorry for what I've said and what's been going on. And like I said, that doesn't reflect any of my beliefs going on now.
The Brewers general manager David Stearns released a statement regarding Hader's tweets. It read, quote, "Those of us that have come to know Josh do not believe that these posts are representative of his beliefs. He has been a good teammate and contributor to the team in every way." Now, Major League Baseball says it will not suspend Hader over those tweets, but will require that he participate in sensitivity training and in the league's diversity and inclusion initiatives.
2 teenagers involved in a crash in a stolen car ran through a mini golf course and an unlocked home on Madison's west side Monday night. Officials say a car was reported stolen Monday night from a Garnet Lane driveway. The car crashed. The 16-year-old driver and 14-year-old passenger stopped when police saw them walking away on Odana Road. But 2 17-year-olds, Ramoji Carr Jr. and Javian White, ran away. They ran through Vitense Golfland and went into an occupied home on Suffolk Road. While leaving, they broke a window. Carr, White, along with the 16 and 14-year-olds were arrested and face multiple charges.
Could see some rain in the coming days after mostly dry weather for a while. Your first alert weather now. Here's meteorologist Dave Caulfield. Dave.
Yeah, and Eric, we could use some of that rain across southern Wisconsin, but we have to wait a while to get it because the low pressure system that's going to bring us those rain chances is just so slow moving right now over the Dakotas. As we take a look at Doppler track, bringing some severe weather to North and South Dakota. Could be some severe storms over the next couple of days across southern Wisconsin as well, but tonight, nothing like that. Pretty comfortable, very nice outside with partly cloudy skies in Madison, looking at 81 degrees on the WISC-TV Skycam. South wind at 7 miles per hour. That dew point, a very comfortable 56. Temperatures in some other spots, 79 in Watertown, 78 in Juneau, 82 in Lone Rock, 81 in the Dells, and 79 in Platteville. Dew points in the 50s and low 60s, so tolerable for this time of year. A little bit more humidity gets to us, especially by Friday, but this evening, partly cloudy and pleasant with lows dropping into the 60s. We'll be in the low 60s overnight, and we'll track those shower and storm chances over the next couple of days in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Crews responded to Sun Prairie's northeast side earlier today for a gas leak. We Energy spokeswoman Amy John said the company was notified this morning that a contractor struck a line. This is in the 400 block of Batinger Court. She says the crew arrived at 8:30, turned off the gas 15 minutes later. One customer was without service as crews made repairs.
Poll numbers out today show candidates in next month's primary have some work to do with voters.
And more than a third say they still don't know who they'll vote for. Political reporter Jessica Arp with the latest, the Marquette Law School poll numbers that were out today. Jess?
Well, we're learning more today about just how unknown some of these candidates are to voters and how they feel about some of the big issues facing the state's economy. In the race for governor, State Superintendent Tony Evers still holds a lead in the 8-way race with 31%. You'll see here none of the other candidates in this race make it to double-digit support, and one candidate got 0 votes in the poll. But probably most importantly here, look at that number at the bottom. 38% of voters still don't know who they will support in the primary, which is just a month away. This poll has a margin of error of just under 7%. We're also looking at new numbers in the Republican primary for U.S. Senate. State Senator Leah Vukmir now leads former Marine Kevin Nicholson 34 to 32%. Nicholson has led this race to this point, but 30%, you'll see here, of voters are undecided here as well, and the margin of error is 7%. Marquette Law School poll director Charles Franklin says after presenting the numbers on the Marquette campus this afternoon that he would call that Senate race a toss-up.
At the same time, neither of them have become substantially better known than they were, and so there's still lots of uncertainty about how they will break out, and 30% of Republican primary voters say they haven't made up their mind.
Now, that poll also asked today about the trade tariffs that have been raising concerns from farmers to Harley-Davidson. 24% of those polled said they thought the tariff increases could be good for the economy. 55% said they thought it would be bad, and 21% didn't know. Now, we did not get numbers today on head-to-head matchups of those Democratic candidates for governor with Governor Scott Walker or the Republicans with Senator Tammy Baldwin. Franklin said he will offer those numbers in his next poll, which will come after that August 14th primary.
Well, we know how it gets in summer in Wisconsin. People are busy, right?
That's right. It's a busy summer.
They got a month to learn.
That's right.
These candidates. Jessica, thank you.
Thank you, Jess. We'd like to take a moment to thank all of you who contributed yesterday during our day-long telethon to keep Sun Prairie strong.
Thanks to your help, more than $163,000 was raised for the Bank of Sun Prairie's Disaster Relief Fund. It'll all stay in the Sun Prairie community. Amanda Quintana here with reaction from the Bank of Sun Prairie. Amanda?
Look at that number.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, the bank is proud, just as proud as we are. We're so excited about this. The Bank of Sun Prairie set up the Disaster Relief Fund as a way to help the community recover and rebuild. That explosion was close to home for them, just a block away from the bank, but they never imagined that they'd raise this much money, $163,517. That's just the donations from our telethon yesterday, and other businesses still have fundraisers planned for later this week. The Bank of Sun Prairie president and CEO says he's partly shocked, but knew the community would come together to support each other.
We have a community full of people that care about each other and that'll do anything for each other, whether that's providing housing, whether that's helping people out financially, whether it's organizing a fundraiser when people are down. You know, the showing of support. This support goes far beyond what's happening at the Bank of Sun Prairie.
funds will go directly to the victims and to two organizations, the area's resource center called Sunshine Place and the Emergency Food Pantry. Through those two nonprofits, the money will pay for first month's rent and security deposits for displaced families, clothes and children's beds, then food and dignity items like soap and shampoo. So again, we just want to say thank you to everyone who donated and also to our volunteers who answered the phones for the entire 18 hours yesterday. It really is overwhelming. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, it was great to be a part of it. We were glad we could offer the phone bank and all that.
Yes.
And we're still overwhelmed with how much
You
people
all did
supported.
something good.
Absolutely.
You did something
No
very
doubt.
good.
No doubt it was great. Amanda, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. The community is continuing to come together to raise money for those affected by the Sun Prairie explosion. Right now, at the Palace Cinema in Sun Prairie, half of the popcorn sales are being donated to the Sun Prairie Disaster Relief Fund. Also, just for today, all movies are $5. There are additional jars at the counter at the theater to collect even more funds for those affected.
We have 200 people working for us, and probably 75% of them are locals, and it affects people in different ways. We're here to hopefully bring people together, and we feel very blessed to be in the community.
And the final numbers are also in from the Culver's fundraiser yesterday in Sun Prairie. A spokesman from Culver's says over $20,000 was raised. There's Craig Culver.
Yeah, he was working hard.
They all worked so hard yesterday. It was really, really inspiring. The money was raised to support the families of Captain Corey Barr and Ryan Welch, who was injured in the explosion. If you'd like to help out the victims of the Sun Prairie explosion, we have a link to multiple fundraisers on our website, channel3000.com.
The historic Monterey Dam continues to come down today in Janesville.
As the demolition moves forward, Janesville residents are stopping by to pay their respects to the area. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with what people are saying today. Adam?
The Monterey Dam has been a fixture in Janesville for more than 150 years, so naturally, as it's coming down, people have been coming by to pay their respects. Today, I caught up with some people at the dam to find out what they think about it coming down.
For over a century, the Monterey Dam held the water back. But for some Janesville residents, it holds other things, like memories.
We used to jump off the Monterey Bridge into the upper part of above the upper dam and swim to shore. And we didn't have video games and that type of thing. We had to make our own fun, you know. So this is like my playground.
A playground now coming down, slated for redevelopment to return the river to what it was before the dam over 150 years ago. For guys like Mike, that can be a mix of emotions.
Not real favorable of this happening, but things must go on, and hopefully for the better.
Other Janesville residents made it very clear how they feel about the dam coming down.
It breaks my heart that they're trashing my neighborhood and destroying my backyard and dropping our property values.
But the city says there are people on board.
There are a number of people in the community that do support the project and do support us going forward and restoring the river back to what it was before the dam was put in place back in the mid-1800s.
As the water recedes, other debris is making an appearance in the Janesville Lagoon. Woodard says this will be cleared in September. For now, all residents can do is watch as the dam comes down.
Now, there are plans to redevelop the area. In fact, officials say they're going to try and increase fishing and kayaking, canoeing, all sorts of things like that to give it a more wetland feel. But unfortunately for Janesville residents, it's something they're going to have to wait for more than a couple of years, according to Paul Woodard.
Adam Duxter in our Rock County Bureau. Adam, thank you.
And there's more to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, the president continued to receive backlash after his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
We're learning more details about the Russian national who is accused of spying in the U.S.
And on Wall Street, U.S. stocks end mostly higher. The Dow up 79 points, NASDAQ down less than a point. S&P 500 added 6, and we'll be right back. President Trump continues to face backlash following his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, this time for casting doubt on Russian election interference.
President Trump now says that he holds Vladimir Putin personally responsible for Moscow's attempts to interfere with the 2016 election. Yesterday, the president said he misspoke during a news conference on Monday with Putin when he suggested that Russia did not interfere in the election. Democrats are now demanding to know what Putin and the president talked about privately for nearly 2 hours during the summit.
If the president is not going to share that with us, then the interpreter is the one in the room who may have some of that information.
I think that would be a terrible precedent to be pulling translators for meetings that presidents have.
Lawmakers on both sides will get a chance to question Secretary of State Mike Pompeo about the summit next week.
Federal government laid out some of its case against a 29-year-old Russian national who is accused of spying in the United States. Officials say Maria Butina, a recent American University graduate, gained access to some of the top members of the NRA and other conservative groups. Butina came to the U.S. on a student visa, but the government's criminal complaint argues her legal status was predicated on deception, working on behalf of the Russian government until her arrest on Sunday. Search warrants uncovered evidence that she had ongoing communication with Russian intelligence operatives. Butina was preparing to relocate to South Dakota when FBI agents arrested her. The 12 Thai boys and soccer coach who were rescued from a cave are talking about their harrowing ordeal. They appeared at a news conference after being released from the hospital. The boys described what it was like for them in the cave. They said they weren't initially scared because they thought the water would go back down overnight.
I told everyone, fight on. Don't despair. It was a miracle. It was a miracle. I was shocked.
The children brought out of a drawing of the Thai Navy SEAL who died trying to rescue them. They said they felt sad and guilty. They hope that drawing, which they all signed, will go to the diver's family. Doctors say each child has gained about 6 pounds since the rescue was completed 8 days ago.
Let's head out to the weather patio now to get a check on the forecast. It's a great afternoon outside. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Susan and Eric. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic once again across southern Wisconsin weather-wise with plenty of sunshine. A few more clouds have visited us today, but they're just enjoying this weather along with us. Also, still low humidity out there, but that will change a little bit, especially as we head into Friday with those storm chances and shower chances on the up and up over the next couple of days. Mild weather is with us as we take a look at weather track, and high pressure still controlling the weather pattern, but you can see that low pressure system off in the distance. It's a slow mover, so it takes its sweet time to get here by tomorrow afternoon, and it will be with us. It takes its sweet time to get out of here as well, so it will be with us on Friday and for portions of Saturday for some of us. Our severe weather outlook for Thursday, some of the storms tomorrow, especially for southwestern Wisconsin, could be a little bit strong. I do think the severe weather threat shifts to the south out of the area by Friday. Rain totals so far for the month of July, we're up to 1.6 inches of rain. We've been there for quite some time in Madison, about 2 inches of rain in La Crosse, and barely a quarter of an inch in Milwaukee. So we are definitely running behind schedule in the rain department for the month of July. It's a bit of a welcome change because we were pretty waterlogged in May and June, but I do think that we will see a little bit more in the way of rain over the next couple of days. Here are the rain totals over the past 6 years in July. The past few Julys have been very rainy. 2014, kind of the exception there, with only about 1 inch of rain. We'll see what end of the spectrum we come out on this July after it ends in just about a week and a half. Downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam looking at some partly cloudy skies right now. Today, the high of 81, just below normal of 82, nowhere near the record of 95. Temperatures right now are in the 70s and 80s across southern Wisconsin. Dew points still comfortably in the 50s, although maybe a little bit more humid for southern Wisconsin, southwestern Wisconsin, I should say, but it's definitely tolerable for this time of year. Our high temperature trend actually showing some below average temperatures coming our way for tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Then we're a little bit closer to normal Sunday and Monday. Another trip into the 70s is in store for next week. Tonight, partly cloudy, comfy, and milder with temperatures in the low 60s. For tomorrow, becoming mostly cloudy. Those showers and thunderstorms start to build during the afternoon and evening with highs in the upper 70s. So partly cloudy skies tonight. The rain chances stay away until tomorrow. Temperatures will fall into the low 60s. So another comfortable night, maybe a little bit more on the mild side. Future track also showing those showers and storms coming into the picture tomorrow afternoon and evening. You can actually see that low pressure system just kind of circulating in on itself and staying put for the day on Friday as well. It depends on where these downpours set up with the scattered shower and thunderstorm setup that we have going for us over the next couple of days, but anywhere from about 1 inch to 2 inches of rain possible in those downpours across portions of southern Wisconsin. Tough to pin down right now, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Your 7-day forecast showing those temperatures back into the 80s for Sunday and Monday. Some slight shower and thunderstorm chances are with us for next week, but generally dry with temperatures hovering around 80 degrees. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic update, taking a live look at the Beltline and Todd Drive. Slow go in both directions this evening. No major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County, but we are seeing those backups on the Beltline. Not looking too bad closer to the interstate and Stoughton Road, but for John Nolan Drive, Park Street into Fish Hatchery Road and Seminole Highway, we are seeing those slowdowns. Verona Road to John Nolan eastbound, that's 12 minutes, an average speed of around 20 miles per hour. In the other direction, that same stretch, that's a 10-minute journey, average speed around 25 miles per hour westbound. That is your first alert traffic. We could use a little bit of that rain. Hopefully the severe weather stays away. We haven't really had all that much so far this spring and summer, but we could definitely use a few raindrops to come to the area.
That's for sure. Yeah, it's very dry out there. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Ahead on News Street 5, a new study showing an alarming rise in one kind of medical emergency for pregnant women. We'll tell you what it is when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. A new study shows the number of American women having heart attacks during pregnancy or after delivery is rising.
Danielle Nottingham tells us why it's important to know your risk factors.
No, I like this one better.
Erica Perez welcomed her third child, Joshua, 7 years ago. Right after his birth, she didn't feel well. Her EKG was normal, but 10 days later, she felt even worse.
The pain went back to my back and my chest and my arm. I felt like, like I was dizzy.
Erica was having a massive heart attack.
I couldn't believe it because I would never thought that at 37 and having my third baby, I was going to be having a heart attack.
A new study from NYU Langone Health says the risk of having a heart attack during pregnancy and right after delivery is on the rise. Researchers examined 55 million hospitalizations and found a 25% increase from 2002 to 2014.
The risk of heart attack during pregnancy may be increasing because women are waiting longer to have children. Diabetes and obesity have gone up in our country during that same time period.
Heart attack risk was highest for pregnant women over 40. Dr. Nathaniel Smilowitz says it's critical to know your risk factors such as high blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes. And don't ignore the warning signs like chest pain.
Although the risk of heart attack in women is low during pregnancy, it's not zero. And the complications of heart attacks during pregnancy can be serious. Pregnancy is a stress in the body, and it can unmask heart disease in that setting.
Erica, now 45, is encouraging other women to speak up if they feel something isn't right.
Know your body. Know your body, know your symptoms.
She's walking more and eating better to pass healthy habits on to her children. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Temple City, California.
Erica now works with the American Heart Association to raise awareness for women about heart disease. 50% of women in the study who had heart attacks during or after pregnancy were under the age of 35.
Stay with us. We'll have another check of your weather when we return.
Nice night outside.
Yeah, a little bit milder than we've been experiencing, but not bad at all. Partly cloudy skies. That's what we're seeing in Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Your day planner for tomorrow, starting off in the 60s, will reach highs in the upper 70s, but showers and thunderstorms come into the picture during the afternoon and evening, and they'll be with us for Friday into portions of Saturday. We will start to dry out Sunday with temperatures back in the 80s.
All right, we'll be back with more news on News 3 at 6 in 30 minutes. The CBS Evening News is coming your way next.